All right, good evening, everybody. Tonight is Wednesday, November the 15th, 2023. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Town of Darien Zoning Board of Appeals. We have 3 hearings and applications tonight. We have a little change in order at the request of Mr. Gleason, which has been approved. Its calendar number 21-2023 is going to go first this evening. I appreciate the other applicants' agreement to that. Okay, this is the application of Wilder Gleason of Gleason Associates on behalf of Michael and Christina Martineau to allow the construction of a second and two-story addition, the property known as 23 Old Stone Road. Okay, sir, it's all yours. Mr. Gleason.
Thank you to the other applicants for allowing me to jump the line. I much appreciate that. And so do my clients, Michael and Christina Martineau, who are in the front line. And their neighbors are here in support, which is a very rare occasion. So I will try and be brief and to the point.
Thank you.
First of all, these are slides
Just
that show
state your
the
name,
front.
sorry, for the record. Just state your name.
Oh,
for the
I'm
record.
sorry. Wilder Gleason of Gleason and Associates, representing the applicants. So these are pictures of the front yard, and you can see this is from Old Stone Road. They're at the corner, at the terminus, at the turnaround. And this is looking up their driveway, their house, which was built in 1947. And it doesn't meet setbacks, and it doesn't meet minimum width, and there's a bunch of legal nonconformities. This is as you come up by the wing on the right side, which is the north side, you look back, and you can see the garage. That garage doesn't meet setbacks. It's a one-car garage. You're supposed to have 2 parking spaces. We have 1. That's a legal nonconformity. The garage violates setbacks. That's the second. We're going to go to the next slide. This is the backyard, and you'll see this is from one side of the backyard looking towards the house, and the addition is going to go up over this, connect to the garage. The garage is going to, this existing garage will be torn down and a new one will be located in the backyard. And the garage that's proposed, the new one, will provide 2 parking spaces, but it's going to be 5 feet below the first floor of the existing house. And so they've proposed a mudroom that allows steps up to connect the first floors, basically. And they're doing a second-story addition that, let me go back to the front, that's going to be built over these wings while preserving part of the front and these sides. But the back is going to disappear, basically. And our plans show that. The architectural plans show what will remain, what will be removed. And we have a letter from the architect saying that he believes that the structure that's supposed to remain will remain. Okay? So this is a map, number 1571, that was recorded in 1947 that created our property, which is this lot at the end. It's 0.4 acres in a R1/3 zone now. It met regulations. You'll see there's a brook on the back side. That brook and the topography create one of our hardships. The house at the time it was built was in A residence zone, which required 1/3 of an acre. We're just over that, and it had side yard setbacks of 10 feet. The original house did meet that, and this is the assessor's card. You have copies of this in front of you. It shows the house was built in 1947, and it says that the house is a little under 2,000 square feet. In fact, it's more than that, according to our architect. It's something in the order of, with the basement, it's about 2,435 square feet existing. There are 2 variances that have been granted in connection with the property. One is ZBA calendar 70/1954, where they got a 8-foot variance in lieu of 10 allowed from the south property line. And this is the sketch. This is supposed to be 8 feet from the property line. That's what's in the land records. That a copy of that is in your package there, 8 feet from the south property line. In 1983, there was a new variance granted, and the house is shown as being 9.7 from, they were doing an addition up here. It was supposed to be 9.7 from the property line. And it turns out, instead of being 8 feet, this is now 5.5. So between the approval in 54 and the approval in 1983, we have, instead of 8 feet, 5 feet. It is what it is. It's been there since 1954. I would say it's legally non-conforming because this was granted and nobody raised the question of the shrinking setback in 1983 from the 1954 variance. I can't explain it, but it is what it is. And the current survey shows something different.
But just your view is, if a variance is granted for anything on the lot, and it doesn't mention a different nonconformance, then that is all.
Well, the practical reality, Kevin, you can get legal and technical, but the reality is that I'm pointing the house to you
Okay.
because I think the town would have a hard time saying, we must take that down. Bring it down back to 8 feet instead of 5.5. I mean, I just think that's not going to happen.
Did they get a CO for that part of the house?
I don't know. I assume so. I have not researched it. It was,
Is that question in reference to the 1983 variance?
Yeah, his point,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think-
yeah, I don't know, but I assume so. I did not represent the Martinos when they bought. Typically, these days, you do a search to see that there were C of Os issued for permits, but I just don't know. We go to the next. This is the current survey of the property, and it's a blow-up of it. We have the original one. This is the big one for the Martinos. It's dated 2021, and you can see the property goes in the front from, in this one, the house is 9.7 feet from the front property line, and it is, the garage is 4.9, not the 5 feet required from the property line. And the, let's see, we're 5.5 feet from the south property line. So 5.5 is consistent with the 83 or 84 variance, and that's the existing house. The thing to note is that the front of the property rises from 72 at the street elevation to 75 at the house. It's a 3-foot rise up to where the house is. And then it drops down to about 70 at the back lawn. And there's a wire fence along the back area because all of a sudden it gets really steep. And the closer these lines are together, the steeper the slope. These are very close lines. It gets very steep and it leads to the brook and a wetland and a regulated area in the back. And it's the back half of the property is essentially inaccessible. So the only buildable area really is the front, where the house is now. And that's shown more clearly in the blow-up of this section. You can take a look at that in your packet. So the list of nonconformities. Our north yard setback is 9.7 in lieu of 15. There's been interpretation since the variance was granted in 1983. It says our north yard setback is supposed to be 15 because you have a 10-foot minimum setback and an aggregate side yard of 25. So which side do you apply the 15-foot to? And after consideration, the ZBA and staff adopted a policy that says, in this instance, it applies to the north yard, north set side, and we've got to be 15 feet, although we're 9.7 existing now, okay? The south yard, side yard setback is 5.5 in lieu of the 10, and the aggregate side yard is existing 15.2 when 25 is required. So we're pretty non-conforming as to side yard setbacks in aggregate. The garage is 4.9 when 5, and we have 1 parking spaces when 2 are required. So when looking at this for an addition, we said, well, let's make the addition comply more nearly. Let's make it work. And that's what the architect did. So, the architect plans here, which are before you, if the red is new foundation. Blue is stuff that's going away. So this is the foundation and the basement plan. This is the new garage, it's a two-car garage coming in here with habitable above, a mudroom that will eventually go to the, meet the second floor. So, this is the first floor. Garage, mudroom, new habitable space behind the existing house. Blue is walls that are going away. Okay? This is part of the submission, it's part of the record already. I'm just giving you copies here. This is the second floor. There's habitable in above the garage. Oh, and by the way, it's a two-car garage, and we have adequate space to put two cars in here meeting the regulations. That eliminates one of our nonconformities. We now have 2 parking spaces which are required, and they're out of the front yard setback. And they meet the side yard setback. Now, that's, the second floor is an addition to expand and give us, we have, the Martineaus have 3 children, and they'd like to get additional space. They've lived here for 9 years. They love the neighborhood. They have great relationships with their neighbors. And they're going to move out of this house while this renovation is done, and a year later come back to a house that is going to be approximately 4,800 square feet, 4,775 of habitable space, from what is now 2,435. Okay? So that's the second floor plan. This is the roof plan. Red is new. You can see some dormers here going in the front. You'll see those show up, but we're preserving portions of the roofs, especially on this side. Okay? We go to, here's the front elevation. You can see what's being preserved. The red is new. And this is all behind the front. That's the second story addition in the back. Okay? But this addition is set back, and this is going to be 10.2 feet from the property line, and this is going to be 10.3. This is the rear, a lot of red, okay? Portions of this do not meet the 15-foot setback, but we're already at 9.7, and the closest portion of that is 10.2 from the property line. And that's in the front. It's in the front that it's closest. This is the right side, or the north side, and you can see we're preserving this space, and this addition is set back. This is the eave, and it's set back, and this corner is 10.2 from the property line. That's the closest portion of this addition to the north property line. And this is the other side, and this is the area right here that is 10.3 feet from the property line when the existing is 9.7. So the architect has stepped it back. And we're building over existing while preserving the existing structure to these. So now we go to, this is the proposed development, and you can see how it lays out. That this is the garage, this is the connector, the mudroom. There's a 2-story addition here, and it connects and is built out over the existing house. The architect's been very creative in my mind. And the variances that we need are simple. It's a 10.2 side yard setback in lieu of 15 on the north side. Because on the south side, we're at 10.3. We meet the setback with our addition on the south side. And we're 20.5 feet in lieu of 25 feet aggregate side yard for those, for the addition. Now, the existing remains the same at the first floor, but at the second floor, we're pulling in, and we're getting much closer to the 25 than what we have now. So, Michael, you've talked to the neighbors. Do you want to come up? This is Mr. Martineau, the applicant.
Thank you for the time. Our family grew, we moved here.
Can you introduce
I'm
yourself,
sorry,
sir?
Michael Martineau, 23 Old Stone Mile. This is my wife, Christina Martineau. We do have 3 sons. We moved in here in 2014, fell in love with our house. Always knew we would need something a little larger. Didn't know our family was going to grow to a family of 5. And quite frankly, fell in love with our street. Our neighbors are great friends. 2 decided to join us, the Monroes, who are our property is basically on top of, who are more than supportive of it. Our neighbors on the other side are the same way. The entire circle, they thought when we invited them over to tell them about this, were joyed that we were staying and not moving. So anything we can do here to get this to work, we put our time and effort into it. Hired a personal attorney, hired a local architect that understands the look and feel of the town and our street. So, hopefully we get to approval and can move forward.
Thank you, Michael. So we
May I ask,
have 2 letters of support.
question? I'd
Sorry,
like to ask a
yeah.
question, please, if I may. Just out of curiosity, you're referring to this house being right on top of you that shares the driveway? This is 18?
That's where the garage is on their property. The other side is the Monroes, who are in the back, whereas our bedroom side is, and that's where it gets even tighter on their side.
So they're behind you?
No, they're on the other, so our house.
But you're on the other side?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah, they're adjacent, but your bedroom is 5.5 feet. That wing is 5.5
To the-
feet from the neighbors who are here tonight in support of this.
Okay,
And the neighbors that, with the garage side on, they actually give us a little property right now that they'll be getting back. That's just been shared from 35 years ago. Like our garbage cans, they built a fence around it. They're just a neighbor in 1980s.
Right.
And they've always given them that property. So, they even built bushes around it, giving us that property just to give us a little more capacity. But they're gonna gain a little land back. They get a more defined driveway now that we have to area to pull our cars in the back if we get our garage with the way we presented it in the build.
okay. And with respect to the garage, Wilder says there's going to be habitable space up there. What exactly is going up there?
Storage to begin. We just had them build a second floor, but because we have so many toys with all the little kids and everything, the idea is bikes and skis and everything for winter.
So it's just storage?
Right
It's not a
now.
bedroom, bathroom?
No.
Is it a ceiling like this, or is it head height?
It's head height.
Head height.
Okay.
It's habitable, and it could be used as a playroom to kick the kids out of the house, or maybe an office at some
Okay.
point. But there's
Fine.
no plumbing.
Day one, it's literally gonna be to go store everything.
Understood.
upstairs.
Fine. Okay. Yep.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Might be
sir.
a good spot.
Yep.
Mr. Martineau, while you're there, there hasn't been a site engineering plan prepared yet, so is that going to follow, and is that going to include this driveway realignment? And
So
what did you say? You're going to give back portions that are encroaching, or
we-
what's going to change?
Just where the coops, if you look at it, if you drive in that driveway, the actual asphalt is right at the edge of our property, and it goes right up to the existing garage.
Here, look at this and see if
If
you
you
can.
can see a picture
Let
of
me
it,
just, there, hey, would you want the picture, or do you want
Yeah,
the?
the picture I can
survey?
show you.
All right, let me go back to the picture.
but you drive up our driveway, you have to like turn a little to get to the garage. If they want all their property, basically it goes all the way up to the asphalt. Right now, there's a big bush that arches around, and that's where our garbage cans are. But technically, that's their property. When we had it surveyed and they put the studs in the ground, because we had them do it, it's a straight shot. They're still in the ground if you go up there with
So let me just clarify. So the question is, the existing driveway encroaches a little bit on that neighboring property. Is that
We
going to
share,
be?
they use
But
a lot of our
what he's
driveways.
talking about, there's a little piece of.
Can you get rid of the blue?
In here, see, that actually
No.
goes, there's a slight encroachment here. And would that be fixed, I guess is what he's asking as part of this. I mean,
Yeah,
Is that where he's talking
there's
about?
stairs here that make us swing out a little bit, because that's our only entrance into and out of our kitchen.
are
That
those
goes away.
stairs, are those stairs going away?
Yeah, they go completely away with the new build, because we'll have the mudroom and the two-car garage in the back. So we can run a lot closer than what we did.
All right, so Woody, if you want a stipulation that the encroachment on the neighbor's property immediately north of the house will be removed.
Okay.
We can live with that, I assume, right? You're gonna repave the driveway anyway.
We're gonna talk together and probably design it together with our neighbors. Because at the end, we both share. It's
Yeah.
not a split driveway, so that it's really ugly driveway. And nobody ever knows where to park, so it's gonna be better to find for them, and they're still gonna be using a part of our property at the end.
Okay.
But they're such good neighbors,
Okay.
we're more than welcome.
Thank you.
Good?
Yep.
Yep, good. Thank you, sir.
Great.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. So the hardships that we have are outlined in the last page. It's the creation of the lot, I'm having trouble getting this to slide where it needs to go, so I'm just gonna go through. If you look
There
at the
you
light, so I had introduced, there's letters from our immediate neighbors on the north, as well as the Monroes are here to speak about it. But we have support of the immediate neighbors, and obviously the full neighborhood supports this. The grounds for approval are the creation of such a deep, narrow lot in 1947. The upgrading of the regulations over time. We now have the adoption of the aggregate side yard created issues. The topography, which limits our development to the front portion of the property. It's about 120 feet deep, and we've got a lot that's well over 200 feet deep. The fact that we have a deep incline and then wetlands and wetlands regulated areas in the back. The prior variances in 54 and 83 to allow the existing structure to violate applicable setbacks at that time, legally non-conforming. We're placing a proposed second floor addition further back from the existing setbacks. So we exceed the 10-foot minimum side yard setback on both sides. We're 10.3 on the south, 10.2 on the north. And we're improving the aggregate side yard compliance, degree of compliance. We are also reducing or eliminating 2 nonconformities. A garage that doesn't meet setbacks, and we're providing 2 legal parking spaces when 1 exists currently.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Anything else, Mr. Gleason?
That's it.
Okay. The Monroes, for the record, I'd like to come up, if you'd like to, would you like to come up and say a couple words? You can be very brief. Just so I have it on the record. Not that I don't trust and believe you're the representatives here.
Excuse me, I just don't want you.
I'm Kathleen Monroe. I'm the owner of the house at 21 Old Stone Road. Christina and Marty have been our neighbors. We are very happy to have them as our neighbors, and we would hate to lose them as our neighbors. So I know when construction is done, it will be a difficult task but all of us at the circle have agreed we will be very helpful as far as construction, trucks, et cetera, we understand that, and we're 100% behind them so they can stay.
Great, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comment about the neighbor cooperation with regard to construction vehicles and things like that, because it can get tight back there. So appreciate that very much. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on this application? All right, board members, any questions for Mr. Gleason or the Monroes? Or the Martinez?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Just while we're on the north side setback, so currently it's 9.7 instead of 15, right? And then you say what you're proposing is 10.2 instead of 15.
Correct.
So at first you would think, okay, we're reducing the nonconformance, but is what you're really saying just the second floor?
Just the
is
second,
10.2?
the second floor,
the
closest
first
portion is
floor
10.2.
So the first floor setback deficiencies on the north side and the south side are remaining as is?
Correct.
And when you say the aggregate is now 20.5, and previously, currently, it is 15.2.
That remains, as to the first
So you're
floor.
bifurcating.
Yes.
When you say the aggregate setback is 20.5.
That's it.
That's not accurate. That's just the second floor aggregate.
That's
the new
correct.
build,
That's
and the
correct.
ground floor is remaining. So the only real reductions in nonconformance are one parking space from two and the garage out of the.
Which is exactly what I said was the reduction in nonconformity.
I know, I just-
I wasn't claiming that what we were
say-
doing was reducing nonconformities as to setbacks.
I just
It's
wanted to
not.
clarify.
But we're trying to utilize in an effective way I think this is a very sensitive application.
Okay, so towards that, just give us a little testimony on, you're almost exactly doubling the square footage of
Correct.
the house. Can you explain why that's the minimum adjustment necessary?
The regulations allow us to build an addition in compliance with, we are in an area that's constrained, and
We go from how many bedrooms to how many and what
how many
is- what-
bedrooms
what
do
are
we
the-
have now?
We have 3.
And you're going to 5, right?
We're going to 4 upstairs and 1 extra downstairs. So
Yeah.
yes.
So we're going to, from 3 to 5. And this is what's happening on this street. There are a lot of houses that have been renovated, and they're going to 4 and 5 bedrooms. And they don't have the issues of this property, which has the topographic challenge. Basically, half of the property is unusable. And the property also doesn't meet minimum widths. And so they're doing something that everybody else on the street is going to do, or some of them have already done. And they have full support. And by doing it this way, we're trying to make it the minimum adjustment in terms of setbacks necessary. And in terms of square footage, if we're allowed to expand, which we are, provided we're in an area where 60% of the width is achieved, then we're just taking advantage of that. We could go to 7,000 square feet, and I don't think the minimum adjustment would be an issue here. It'd be an issue of, I think it'd be, because we're doing, this seems to me to be pretty appropriate for the neighborhood and the way in which things are going.
Okay.
There.
All right.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Well, I got to get on the record. Somehow you're going from 9.7 to 10.2 with this second-story addition.
On the south side.
No, on the north side.
Oh, sorry, 9.7 to
9.7
10.2.
existing.
Yes.
And the second floor, you step back from the front wall some. Architecturally, is this going to work? You have to hold the 10.2.
Oh, yeah. I've checked with Chris Pagliaro. He's a very good
I
architect.
just want to get on the record that we have to
Yeah.
have
I-
some structural adjustment on
They
it.
will make that work.
So I don't think the architectural plans quite show how yet.
No, the details of the structure, we're not going to invest in until we get a variance. And then we'll get the structural engineer to look at it, and we'll have this dealt with, and we will seek building permits and whatever else. We will definitely have to do some sort of drainage plan, and possibly a grading plan, and that's all part of it. Now,
Will there be a... I think just for your clients, what the architect's drawn is not what's being asked for here. Because he's showing a straight wall going up on that north side, which is not what...
Really? Is that what, you know what?
So I want to, that's...
That north side, that north side is stepped back, and I think you were misinterpreting what happened. Let me go to the, the elevation on the north side. It's the right side, right? Left side.
Right side drawing, yeah.
Looks like it's flush.
It's flush, so if that's 9.7 at the first
All right,
floor,
so
that means it's 9.7
let me
at the
just
second floor,
blow this
too.
up, because when I looked at it, I saw it differently, okay? That's the left side, let me go to the right side. Sorry. All right, this is the front. This is the side of the building, and he's
It's
got
not
it.
the- It's not the top, keep going over to the right. That
Over
back
the right.
piece there.
But, yeah, this is, so if, let's look at the front elevation. That's the rear, sorry. So this is stepped back here. And while it may not be, I think there's a step back here, but you're right, it could be interpreted as being flush, but it's coming back a half foot. It is, and,
There's a different drawing that shows it goes in like this and then up. That's hard to
this is
see
what
that
I got from the architect, and I didn't focus on that.
All right.
But
It's more
I,
just for these guys.
we had a little discombobulation about whether it was 10 feet or was it 10.2, and I talked to the surveyor, and I talked to the architect, and it was just as Woody was doing legal notices, and we had applied at 10.2, and that's what we're sticking with, okay?
So it could be fixed if you want to stipulate that structural engineer has to verify how it's going to work.
That's where I'm going. So you say you're doing a structural
I-
report, right? Engineering report?
Yeah, I
Did you say
assume there
that?
will be, I don't know for sure, okay? But I anticipate that they may be required. I don't want to mandate it. If Chris is comfortable designing this under his architect's stamp as to structure, I don't want to impose on the Martinos the cost of a structural engineer.
Okay, I understand the comment. Well, then we're going to stipulate that the drawings are accurate,
Okay.
that are submitted for the building permit.
Oh, absolutely.
That correctly reflect the second
10.2.
story.
Absolutely. Please do.
Okay,
Not an issue.
okay, Woody?
Talk about it later.
Oh, God, that means I'm getting a phone call in the morning.
No, I mean-
Okay. No, it's fine. All right. One other minor issue. I have a note somewhere that there's some stockade fence that's questionable. What's the issue with the stockade fence?
Just that it looks like it encroaches on the property line. Mr. Martineau might have been talking about that with
Is
something
that
to
the
do
stockade
with
fence?
driveway adjustments or something.
Yeah, it's an old wooden fence that goes on.
Here, you're gonna have to come up here and talk.
Yeah. Whose fence is it?
Your fence?
So there's actually two of them, and they were there when we moved in, but the one I think you're referencing over by the garage, Woody? I don't know, sorry. It's on the
north,
coop
it's along the
side.
north property line, and it bends
Is
over.
that the coop
All
side?
right, but there's no right-of-way issue here, correct? Okay, fine.
That fence will go away when we,
The fence will go away.
Fence going away.
yeah.
Check that box. Next, let's
Both
go.
of them are going away.
Okay, good. I'm fine. Woody, you okay?
Yep.
Board? Good?
Is this Public Works question resolved? Or do we have to, this was on the staff notes, I think?
It
Mm,
might have been on Revere Road, where there was a question.
well, there is in number 5, there are some comments about Public Works, about the width of the driveway.
Normally they would have a standard of just a 20-foot width, but because this is a shared driveway circumstance, I think it's different.
I mean, this has been in existence forever.
Yeah, I
And
get
there's a
it.
shared driveway easement, I believe.
I get it.
So I don't think you want to be interfering with something that's been there for a long time.
Okay, well, I don't want you to be late for your next presentation, so I'm going to close this hearing, okay?
Thank you so much, I
Great.
appreciate it. And I
Thank you.
appreciate the indulgence.
Yeah, not a problem. Okay, so we'll deliberate this matter at the end of the meeting, and those involved may stay, but there's no public comment allowed, which I'll probably repeat after we're all done, said and done here. Thank you,
Thank you
Wilder.
very
Good luck later tonight. Okay. I'm now going to move back to the original order of the agenda, okay? So that's going to bring me back to calendar number 17-2023, the application of Rem Big, I can never pronounce the Essex name, but it is Rem. Can I just say Rem? Good. PB Architects on behalf of David Brown for the property known as 15 Revere Road. Thank you very much. Good evening, Rem, if I may. I assume you're Yassik's son?
Yes, I'm his son.
Well, welcome to ZBA, sir. He's probably sick of us.
No, he's very happy I'm here.
I'm sure he is.
Give me a moment, please.
Take your time. All right, before you get going, I just want to state a couple of things. Are you familiar with the presentation, the previous application, and the denial that Mr. Brown received? I just want to, do you know the history behind it?
Yes.
Okay, and obviously you must know about the history of the previous plans that were submitted?
Yes.
Good. One of the most important things here is that the board understands exactly what the differences are between what was denied in what month, I don't remember right now, but what was denied previously and what is being presented tonight.
Yes.
That's one of the most important things that the board wants to understand.
Okay. For the record, my name is Ren Boguczynski, representing PP Architects and our client, Mr. David Brown, at 15 Revere Road. We are proposing to bring 15 Revere Road, a legally non-conforming property, into increased conformance with the current Town of Darien zoning regulations and to request proposed second-story addition over existing first floor, proposed 2.5-story addition within the buildable area. No part of the proposed design will increase the building footprint outside of the buildable area. The existing legally non-conforming but not permitted shed will be removed. It will be replaced with lawn or landscaping. The parcel does not have the 2 off-street parking spaces as required, and therefore we are proposing to add 2 9-by-20-foot parking spaces within the existing footprint of the dwelling as an attached 2-car garage. The hardship is based on the shape of the land and position of the house on it. The parcel is zoned R1/2, but the existing site area is 1/3 of an acre. There are 4 houses located on the east side of Revere Road. Number 15 is one of them. All houses were built at about the same time and in the same manner, with very similar side yard setbacks. No variances were required to build these homes. 15 Revere was built in 1953, not needing a variance. Corner lot setback requirements were later added, making number 15 legally non-conforming, as one of the required front yards now cause encroachment for the existing dwelling.
Excuse me.
Almost half of the existing house is within that front yard setback. The original 1-car garage was on the north side of the lot, also within the front yard setback. Any improvements within this area require ZBA approval. There is no increase of footprint within required setbacks. The non-permitted shed will be removed. The second floor addition on the northern side of the existing footprint will require a variance due to the placement of the house. We believe that the zoning regulations do deprive the applicant of substantial justice in the use of their land. Due to the shape of the land, a new house would have to be placed facing 19 Revere Road. The house would be placed sideways, affecting orderly placement of number 13, 11, and 9. Currently, the width of the house, including possible variance, facing number 19 is 34 feet. That would increase to 79.5 feet, more than double. This would adversely affect number 19, but would not require a variance. We believe the requested variance is the minimum adjustment necessary for a reasonable use of the owner's property. Oh, sorry. So it was stated that the parking spaces in the proposed garage do not comply with the regulations. I'm referring to the staff letters requiring a variance of section 406 and 226. This is due to the placement of the house and location of what was a garage on the northern side of the lot. The legally non-conforming northern side of the house has been placed at 15.4 feet in lieu of the required 40 feet. Currently, the house does not have a garage. We are creating a 2-car garage using the existing footprint by removing some of the existing finished space. The proposed 15.4-foot driveway extends into the right-of-way due to the original house placement. However, to the curb cut, we have 28.6 feet. Cars parked temporarily in front of the garage would not impede with the very limited traffic. This portion of Revere Road is a dead end with only one more house, number 19, on it. The proposed driveway cut is offset to number 19's driveway, making it easy to back up. 2 curb cuts will remain with the proposed northern curb cut move further away from the corner of the intersection. The existing driveway's northern curb cut will be removed entirely. All right, so now for some pictures and diagrams. This is an aerial photo. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. This is an aerial photo from the Town GIS website depicting the project site and other houses on Revere Road. So the orange lines. Okay, we can. The laser pointer doesn't work. Okay. These are the orange lines depicting the frontages of these houses. They're facing the street. The relocated curb cut in yellow, which is there, for the driveway for number 15 Revere Road, and 19 Revere Road is the house opposite number 15 there. That's their driveway. So this is the area of the road we're talking about. So this is the proposed site plan as you've seen online. We just color it in for you so it's a bit easier to understand. Almost half of the existing house highlighted in yellow. So this area is the part of the house that's outside the setback, so it's non-conforming. And then this is the shed that's also going to remove this because it's also non-conforming. And then this dashed red box is the legally allowed building area. And the other thing that's on this plan is that we revised the driveway so that it works with DPW. We've got the 30-foot wide entrance into Revere Road. It's 20 feet wide here, and it connects to the house. But to do that, we have to remove the existing curb cut next to the intersection. It's just too close, and it's not going to work. Let's see, and so it'll be so this driveway will be safer to use, and also, unlike the previous application that you heard last year, we are preserving this 24-inch oak tree, where in the previous application they had an addition here in the setback, or in the non-buildable area, and they would have had to cut down that tree. So we're actually trying to preserve that tree and not have to expand the footprint of the dwelling. So in the previous application from 2022 with a different designer, there was an argument made by attorney Bob Maslin, representing neighbors of 19 Revere Road, that a new house can be built within the setback area of 15 Revere. As a response, well, this is our response to that argument. This is potential design for a new house. So instead of the 34 width of the existing house, we would have to rotate the house as shown. This is the new house here hatched in purple. You've got 80 feet long. We'll be permitted to build to the maximum 20%, and that would be pretty much 20% right there. Additionally, we would locate the garage and the driveway on the eastern side of the property. So the driveway is here. Unfortunately, we have to cut down these two trees. One of them is in the town right of way. And the other problem with this approach also is that the driveway for number 19 is right about here. It's not shown on the survey, but it's right there, so they're pretty much lined up, which is not really too safe. And additionally, because of the fact that we have to make a new driveway over there and dig new foundations for the house, we have to take down a couple other trees. There's a 36-inch oak tree on the side here that's overhanging 16 Louis Lane. That would have to be taken out. And also, there's another, I think, 12-inch oak tree here on the side of 13 Revere Road. Would also have to be cut down because it's too close to the hole they have to dig for the foundation. Well, that's our response, but we think that it's really not desirable to cut down so many large and mature trees, and you have to demolish the existing house, and we're trying to preserve all the trees and also preserve the majority of the existing house. So we think that's a better option, but it's that response there.
Relative to keeping portions of the existing house, how much of the house is remaining?
Okay, Okay, that was in the revised item K.
Mm-hmm,
Well, we're about to talk about that, but,
okay.
well, all right, I'll answer your question.
Well, no, if you're gonna address that, it's fine, go in the order you want.
So this is elevation volume comparisons. And I guess I'll read it again for this, is that we're going to show you some plans and elevations of the house, and the existing building volumes are shaded in red. The proposed building volumes are not shaded, or they're gray or black. And then also to note here is that the previous application had a building height that was 29 feet 11 inches, and it is now proposed at 26 feet 10 inches. Okay, so to answer that question, Mr. Chairman, the existing foundation, existing first floor exterior walls, and first floor interior walls will substantially remain with the estimated 67%, and this is based on square footage, of exterior and interior walls preserved, and an estimated 100% of the existing floor preserved, with less than 38% of that floor to be altered for the proposed two-car garage inside the existing footprint. What that means is that on this plan, which is the first floor plan, there is an existing slab, well, here. So there's a bedroom, there's a non-conforming bedroom. That was not supposed to be done that way. That should have been a garage at some point. And that is, that has a slab, and there's also a mechanical room here in the back that also has a slab. So we were trying to use the existing slabs here and just reorient the inside of the house to have, legally conforming parking spaces in these two areas. And so this area of the house, in terms of the floor, has to be modified. But then the rest of the floor is going to remain because we can reuse that. And then the areas that you have, well, it might be easier to see on that plan, but the areas that are kind of like a hatched, darker line here, with kind of a darker pochette is what we call it. That is proposed new walls, but the lines that don't have that are existing walls. So those are going to remain. Okay, so we're just filling in some walls where we need to redefine some of the spaces, but we are preserving most of the walls. And in terms of the ceiling, that unfortunately has to be removed so we can add a second floor. The existing roof and ceiling were not designed back in 1953 to hold up a second floor, at least in accordance to 2023 building codes.
Have you got a structural engineer that took a look?
We will have.
Excuse me.
Yes.
No, go ahead. I couldn't get it out for some reason.
We will have a structural engineer look at these plans, and he will verify the structural engineering. Obviously, if we get a variance for this. And I also say that we are also required by law to do that. As an architectural firm, we're not allowed to do our own structural engineering, at least in our capacity.
I understand.
We don't have any structural engineers who are licensed to do that.
If the variance is approved, I'm pretty sure we're going to stipulate a structural
Of course, yeah.
report.
Mhm. And that's entirely, we have to do that anyway, so.
I understand.
The new first floor walls
Yes?
outside of the setbacks are all new, the perimeter walls?
No, so,
That's
well,
all staying?
you mean here?
Yes.
Well, the footprint is not being expanded, but we have to modify some of the walls to make the garage work, yes. Because, for example, there are no garage doors here on the side of the facade, so we have to poke open there to have a garage door, and then we're adding 2 windows here for that garage.
So the plan is just to frame in those new openings and leave everything else, or just take it down and start over?
No, we're going to leave as much as we can.
Okay.
We don't want to take anything down, because then, well, what's the point, really, at that point? That's new construction. Okay, these are proposed and existing elevations. I'm sorry for the public. I tried putting the TV on, it doesn't seem to work. But is it okay? Never mind. I have.
I didn't get the question.
The question is, I have drawings, and if people want to look at them, I know they're craning their heads around, but, so this is, these are the existing elevations of the structure. Okay, it is a one-story house, okay, built in 1953. And then this darker red here, kind of silhouette, is taking this, like, if you were to take a silhouette of this and just taking that and putting it here. So you can start to understand the relationship with the volume and what we're trying to propose here. We also have these lines here for the setback line, and that was just to make it really clear as to what part of the house was conforming, what part of the house is not. So on this slide here, everything, this is the side if you were standing on 13 Revere Road and looking north. So this is what you would see. So this is actually, this whole side of the house is conforming, there's no variance required. This is if you were standing on 16 Libby Lane looking west. And this part of the house is legally conforming, and then this part is not. And then that side elevation, there was a amendment to the staff report on Monday. And I have a copy here printed out, but I think you've seen it already.
Did the board receive that, the new drawing, the new highlighted drawings and staff questions? Everybody received that? Great, okay.
Right, so it was on this page where there was a revision, because previously there was a misunderstanding about this part of the drawing. So this part right here is the 34 feet of the existing footprint, okay? This part of the house in the back, and also this triangle, that's behind in the back. This part of the house is actually in the buildable area. And then this part of the house is also in the buildable area, like behind. So imagine if you're standing on 15 Revere, the spur, I guess that's what it's called, and you're looking south at the house, you would see this whole elevation. But this is the only part here that is, well, actually, the whole thing here is part of the house is the legal non-conformance over the variance will be requesting also this part to be added on top. So this diagram here is correct. The one from earlier, the earlier staff report was incorrect, but that was modified. So. Okay, and then this is the attic plan on the left. Because this is a one-story house, there was no existing attic plan. It was just, it was a ceiling and there was attic above it. It was not even, I think there was just a hatch to get in there, but it was nothing usable. So we don't have that as a plan, but that's the proposed plan. This is going to be unfinished space. And then this is the front elevation. So on the left here, we have these two windows are the garages, and the garage also kind of goes a little bit further to about here. That's this space here is that garage. And from the other side of the house, that triangle piece that you saw, that's this gable here. And this is within, this is legally conforming, this is not. Okay, this is in response to the staff comments on November 9th. So one of the comments was that our coverage is right at the maximum 20%. So our response is that an as-built foundation survey can be provided to ensure coverage will be under the 20% maximum before continuing construction of the project. That's usually done for new construction anyway, but we can, as a stipulation, you can ask for that, we can do it. Comment number 7, should stipulation require structural engineer? It was a bit of a longer question, but and our response is that the structural engineer will verify the structure can carry the load of the second floor addition as required prior to the issuance of the building permit. And the last comment was about the survey not being signed and sealed, and we will have that signed and sealed as required prior to the building permit. And of course, when we do an application to planning and zoning as well. So In summary, we believe that due to the hardship as described in the presentation, there is a basis for the variance to be granted, and we believe this is a minimum adjustment necessary for reasonable use of the owner's property. So, thank you. Do you have any questions?
Board?
Do you know the change in livable area in terms of square footage, what it is now and what it's going to? So exclude the garage if you can, or include the garage. whatever
It's
you-
about 26, no, it's under 2,600. 22. Okay. Do you wish to speak?
If anyone has any questions, I'm here, so happy to.
So assume it's 2,200 now, what is it going to?
Right, and then with the addition, it's 2692 on the first floor and 2686, I think, on the second. So it's about,
Well, how is this first floor getting larger?
we're adding to the backyard.
Oh, in the back there.
Yeah, in the buildable
are you-
area.
Are you netting out the garage space, though?
Netting out.
I'm saying, I'm asking for the livable square footage.
Oh, well, then the garage wouldn't be included in that, sorry.
I think we reached the 22.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I guess in that way, it is actually about equal. This is the addition in the back,
Right.
in the backyard, which is
Okay.
allowed, because we don't have variance for that. And then this is the garage, so technically, yeah, so we have, you know,
Okay, I mean, rough numbers, you're saying you're going,
400, so if that was 2692 minus 400, so it's around 2,200 or so on the first floor.
okay, and then what are you adding on the second floor?
And then we're adding, so this footprint here is then being, this is the second floor plan. So we basically take this and you add it on top.
So you double it.
Well, yes, except minus the garage space.
And do you know what portion of that, what the square footage is in the setback that you're building? What is the additional volume in the setback? How much?
We've got.
No, that's
about
out of the
20,000.
setback.
So, right, so in the setback, you're talking about this area here?
Yeah, that's staying the same.
That's
I get
staying the
that.
same on the ground
second
floor,
floor,
correct.
what are you adding?
So
How much additional volume on the second floor in the setback?
in the area where we don't require a variance? or
No, in the setback.
In the second floor, what is the volume of this space?
Well, let's see, that's 20 feet. Well, it's just, you know.
Rough numbers,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
I would say
exact.
about 450, 500.
500 additional square feet in the setback.
Out of a 2,400 square foot addition.
And by the way, this is Mr. Brown, if he's
Yeah.
available for comments or questions.
He knew I was available for comments. Don't worry.
Okay. Woody?
That's it.
Okay. Okay. Is there anybody from the audience that'd like to be heard on this application? Take that as a no.
We did enough of that last year, I think.
Yeah.
Can I ask the question then?
Oh, of course.
The neighbor that was here last time, at
Yes.
19, wherever it is, who was vociferously or whatever, that Jeff encouraged you to have a drink with, can you give us some backstory about what happened and where they stand?
I haven't heard from them. I've heard a couple various backstories, but I haven't talked to them directly, so I don't think that's really germane here.
But you mailed them and got no opposition?
Absolutely, I can affirm that mailings were sent to every neighbor in conformity with the instructions issued by the office.
Okay, so we don't know if they support, we just know they don't technically oppose at this point. So that's it, is it?
I would say so, yeah.
Unless there's been correspondence. Woody, do you have any correspondence?
No.
So I would say correct.
Have they moved in? I know it's,
Yeah, they moved in. Correct. I just wanted to point out one difference, because the earlier question you asked Jeff about the main changes, the main difference. Originally, our plan, again, was to use this same footprint area, but we have the non-conforming shed back here. So this addition was generally about the same size, but instead of being back here in the buildable area, we wanted that to be out here. And so that was where the opposition was from the closeness to that road at 19 Revere. We've completely changed that. All we're doing in this area is removal of that shed that was in existence. And we're going to have this area here where the increase is going to take place. So while we lose privacy out here in the backyard and things like that, which are what encourage us to use this plan, we actually, to be in conformance, we've made the significant change and relocated to this area.
Very well. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Mr. Brown. Okay. I think if you guys are good and the board is okay, then and Woody's giving me the high sign, This hearing's closed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to calendar 20-2023. De Silva, oh, where's my agenda? Sorry. Yeah, calendar number 2023. The application of Nelson Da Silva Jr. And Building Brothers LLC to allow the construction of a 2.5-story replacement house with a garage door's roof, cover, a deck, and a pool for the property known as 21 Marianne Road. So, sir, welcome back. You've decided to take the house down.
Yes, sir.
What an amazing idea.
I heard you guys
You're
last time.
brilliant.
Yep.
Go ahead, sir.
My name is Nelson Da Silva Jr., owner and developer of the property 20. I think you mentioned 21 is the correct number is 20 Marianne Road.
I apologize, sir.
No problem. So basically, what we propose at this time is basically demolish the whole house. The existing house right now it's basically 5 feet to the front and 5 feet to one side yard inside or building setback area. We are basically proposing demolish the whole house completely and build everything inside the building setback areas. And I think in an item K that we submitted, we are asking for a door well to be built to the side. I like to withdraw that, we don't want that anymore, to make it easy for the neighbors. And also, we were asking for the overhang over the garage door should be a little bit oversized. We also like to withdraw that requirement. So we just, basically what we want is everything by code. We're not gonna.
Wait a second. Time out. Time out. Did you just say that you're withdrawing the request for the 3-foot overhang over the garage doors?
That way, nobody complains and make everybody's lives easier.
So you just delete that piece of the proposed structure?
Yep, we're just gonna do a standard, a regular 1-foot overhang as the building code requires.
Okay, let's move on then, sir. Then if that's not part of this application, which is fine, your only issue is a width variance.
The width of the property.
Yeah, with variance.
Yes.
Okay.
And everything else be good.
Okay. You want to run the hardships by us real quickly for the hardships on
The only
the...
hardship at this time is the property, it's not at 200 feet, it's only 140 feet frontage.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we talked with the architect, we moved the door well from here, we can build a new doorway, access the basement inside or regular area, building setback areas.
Mm-hmm.
And we already got a place for the outside condenser, inside or building setback area too. So I was just trying to make everybody's lives easier.
I appreciate that,
Yep.
sir.
We might have given it to you anyway. Is it not the fact that the length of the wetlands cover about 3/4 of the property?
It's also, yes.
Thank you, Kevin.
And with that said, we also, the new house will be farther away from the wetlands than the existing house is, by roughly 5 feet. The existing house right now is like 25 feet away from the wetland. The new proposed house will be roughly 30 feet away from the wetland.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you're still good with the planning program? The, what'd we say, about half a dozen 8-foot arborvitaes or something like that?
We can
Yeah,
put it on this.
yeah, I'm gonna keep that stipulation if you don't mind. If the board agrees to give you the
Yep,
variance,
yep.
okay? I'm gonna keep that in
I think
there.
the same plan that we proposed the first time that we got approved,
Mm-hmm.
I can continue put them down, no problem.
Yeah, okay, all right. Does the board have any questions? Unless you, I'm sorry, do you have anything further, sir?
I don't think so. I think
That's
it's terrific.
terrific. Does the board have any questions on this? Kevin? Nope. I don't either. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to be heard on this matter? Please, sir.
I'm good.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
We very much appreciate you accommodating our regulations, I can assure you of that. Yes,
Art
sir.
Bellis, I'm the neighbor on the east side at 22 Marianne Road.
Yes, sir.
And I believe it was 20 arborvitaes that were stipulated last go-around. And if they're willing to do that, we'd be thrilled.
Okay.
For the 140 versus the 200 feet,
Yes, I understand your comments, sir. It- You know, just for my own curiosity's sake, I'm gonna check the tape, but I can pretty much assure you that in my 22 years, I've never made anybody put 20 trees in there. But, Woody, what's your recollection? I mean, I know what the resolution said. It said 6, 8 foot, what?
I believe it was
It was 20,
26 to
it was
8
the-
feet.
It was 20 that the applicant had committed to and proposed, and it's to their benefit.
Did we approve that?
Yeah,
We did?
the previous decision, right?
Oh, well, I stand corrected. Yikes.
That's all we ask, but we're thrilled with the proposal.
Okay.
I have no problem with that.
Okay, well, then we have an agreement here.
Super.
This has been a delightful hearing. Thank you so much, sir. Please have a seat. Okay, questions from the board? None. Woody, question, yes, sir? No, he's giving me the high sign, hearing closed. Thanks very much. We're gonna, I don't know, should I start with the first one we did?
When we start with this one.
Okay, fine, yeah, you're right. Okay, well, who's got a problem?
No issues.
Me either. Do I hear a motion? You
Just a
okay?
minute, let me see.
Oh, yeah.
Do number
Okay,
20.
let's not, actually, let me not fool around. Stipulate the 20 trees. I don't remember doing that, but okay. My apologies.
And I guess technically we have to stipulate that the overhang goes from 3 to 1 foot, right?
He's correct.
But I would just add that I think it's more that we find that there is clearly something unusual about this property and how narrow the buildable area is and the wetlands and the undersized lot, and it's created a hardship for the applicant, and so I move based on those stipulations to approve their request.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Woody, you have Mr. Fullington's comments noted?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, then, well, I'm just gonna go backwards then. Let's go to Brown. Thank you very much. You can stay, you can go, you can do whatever you want, but thank you for coming, and thank you again for accommodating the town. We appreciate that. We need more people like him.
Do you mind if we go back to Martin, just because they're here?
Oh, no, I don't mind going back to Martineau because they're here.
Okay.
Yeah, of course it is. Where am I? What did I do with Martineau?
That was the first one, that was Wilders.
Can I just see that? Because now, you know, the people jump around on me, I lose my concentration. Okay, this is 23 Old Stone. Okay, board comment? I mean, obviously, we have strong neighbor support here. I think maybe I'll move there. I don't know.
It's a cute street, and I like the cul-de-sac, and the houses are very close together.
You know. Kevin?
I mean, as I'm willing to take the lead from the board, right, if we're identifying unusual things about the property and the hardship, Wilder testified that there's a brook in the back and the topography creates a significant issue. I'm not sure I buy that it's as significant as he said, because he basically said the only place you can build is where the house is. Seems like there's a little more space back there you could build. And is it creating a hardship? Yeah, I mean, if you buy that it's unusual that it's so steep and you can't build there, then maybe, and then you ask yourself, is this the minimum adjustment necessary? And basically doubling the size of the house. I mean, it's currently 3 bedrooms, so I have some sympathy expanding that, understand that. We're reducing the nonconformance in 2 ways by having 2 parking spaces, and they're not in the setback, and getting the garage, which is in the setback, out of there. So that's helpful. So I'm kind of on the fence, take my lead from the rest of the board on this one.
The only thing that I would add, though, is that while they are doubling the size of it, the vast majority of it is all by right, right? So yes, it's getting a lot larger, but there's a sliver. There's only really a sliver that is.
Right.
And I think the issue with moving it further back is then you have no yard. I mean, it takes away, it seems like if, based on the topography, if it does get really steep, there's not that much space left for the yard.
Okay. You guys are convincing me this is the minimum adjustment.
We're trying.
Okay. Matt?
No issues for me.
Okay.
I don't know if we did add, but there's a garage that's being removed
Yes.
too, right? Did
Yeah.
you mention
Yes.
that?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's the reducing
It's,
yeah.
yeah, that's coming out and it's gonna be in the correct spot.
Yeah, yeah.
And the space above is where a lot of the extra square footage ends up, so it's like, well, they could reduce the size of the garage, but then they want a one-car garage, so it's a two-car garage with the space above it.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Do you want to
Whoopsie.
stipulate about the structural,
Flushness.
whatever, how they're
Well,
gonna do that?
My thing
Go
there
ahead.
is, I just think that the architect's drawn something that, whether it's in the owner's heads or not, is maybe not exactly what it's gonna look like if it's set back 10.2 to 9.7. There's a 6-inch setback there. Maybe I just missed it in the plan. It sounded like they were kind of clear that it is set back a little, so, but yeah, they need structural.
As Mr. Gleason said, there was a discrepancy with the surveyor that struck me because the number was 10.0 and they'd asked for 10.2 with a preliminary layout. So I guess it would be good to just verify they have to hold the 10.2 with the additional volume, and the structural engineer has to figure it out. Mr. Gleason didn't want you to stipulate a structural engineer, but there's also how much they're going to preserve of the existing first floor and verifying that.
Well,
Which
if
is
they get a
always,
permit, they're gonna need a structural engineer, right? They're
Normally
gonna
you
need
do.
stamped drawings.
normally you do,
Yeah.
especially with a big addition, which this is.
No, so I think you guys also wanted to stipulate that they would remove any encroachment on the neighbor's property also.
All right.
Yeah, the driveway encroachment is going away.
Okay, so I will stipulate a structural report. I think, given the mass volume that's being added here, and I understand most of it's in the buildable area. I get that, but
There's no way you can, they're gonna need a structural engineer.
yeah. So let's just. I agree with you. I agree. So Woody, anything I missed? No? Okay. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second? All in favor? That's 5-0 as well, Woody. 5-0. Okay. Since there's only one left, I'm going to Brown now. Thank you very much. Best of luck to you. Thank your neighbors, by the way. Okay, Brown. Well, look, this is clearly a much improved plan, and the Anastasi's, close enough. They seem to be okay with it. We haven't heard from them, so we've got no neighbor opposition. Board comments?
It seems like the square footage that's in the setback has been reduced, if I understood the drawings correctly. I think
That's
that was, and, we'd asked for that, they delivered that.
Well, I don't know which one of us suggested, but he did what was discussed because he moved the part of the house that was bothering
The neighbor.
number 19. I'm going to go with 19 as opposed to the last name. Number 19, that's now gone.
Yeah.
So it's likely why we haven't heard from him. So I think that's great.
And it's a much more sensible way to handle the garage, right? Actually put it in where the current house is non-conforming.
Mhm. And
And they reduced the height,
Yeah.
right?
yes, by quite a bit, by the
3
way.
feet, I think it
Yeah,
was.
I know. I don't know where they got that from. And Public Works is okay with the driveway as it is, as it's proposed, so we're good there. I'm okay. Any other comments,
You said
questions?
that they are removing the non-conforming shed.
Yes, the shed's coming out. Yeah.
I
And
think the
volume's
hard- the
actually
hardship
being
is that
replaced
they've
by,
got
but it's in the
the
buildable
two,
zone, so it doesn't matter.
Um,
I'm sorry, Jan. Jen.
Sorry, I
Corner
didn't talk
lot.
over you.
No, please go.
No, I think the hardship is that they're the corner lot, so they have the two front yard setbacks.
Mhm.
Just making sure, I think Kevin does a much better job of that.
No,
than I do.
that's right. And just-
Taking on Kevin's role, huh?
No, not at all.
Oh, boy. Okay, Woody, any comment?
Structural engineer,
Yep, make it happen.
should be.
Thank you. All right, can I have a motion? I can't have a motion? Are we in trouble here?
Waiting to see if there was something else we need to stipulate.
Is everybody okay?
Kevin, are we good?
Well, he mentioned
For
the
the record?
survey, but I think they're gonna have to get that fixed by the time they apply for a construction
They're
permit.
absolutely,
What they submitted to us wasn't signed off, which is unusual.
well, make sure that it is, please.
Sure.
All right. Okay, so
Motion?
you
To approve?
made the motion. I'll second it. All in favor? 5-0. Let's go. Thank you very much.
Your road is done.
Okay, may I have a motion to, well, why don't adjourn until we cover other business, right?
Yeah, let's do other business.
All right, well,
Have a
let
little
me
bit.
take a look at it. Where is it? I don't either. Where? Hold on. All right, it's, where the hell is it? Where the heck is
Oh,
it?
here it is. Okay, you don't mind?
Thank you. Would you mind?
Not at all.
Because I thought we were done, but I forgot. Okay, number one, we'll put that off until Barb comes back. Report on considering release of performance bond. Gary's not here. Okay.
Jana's been helping us with that. too.
Jan, would you like to make any comment about this Giovanni's
Do we
thing?
have any
new.
update? What do you-
Nothing new, it's dropped off the radar for some reason.
And then we have approval of minutes for the meeting on October the 18th, of which I was not here. So can I get a motion to approve those minutes from October 18th?
I wasn't.
I feel like I'm dropping the ball. I need to check. I think you sent that,
Yeah,
didn't you,
those
Woody?
came out.
Sorry.
Yeah. A while
We're gonna
ago.
punt that one then.
I'm
Sorry.
happy to punt, yeah, I'm happy to punt that if you'd like.
I have not
Well, I
looked.
think
Yeah,
it
we
was
can
only
put
the
it-
three of us.
Yeah, it was. But that would
No,
would
it's just
approve
us.
it.
Yeah.
Woody,
can postpone.
punt that to December the 15th.
13, but.
What is it?
well,
13th?
13, but I have news. We have no new applications. And several that we've been holding, waiting for completion, have not completed anything.
What's the deadline?
Today. Today.
Today was the deadline?
So it looks like we don't need our December 13th.
Isn't that delightful?
But
All
we should
right,
have our December 6th dinner.
yes. Okay, let's adjourn before we talk about that. Okay, can I get a everybody go, motion to adjourn?
I'll motion.
I'll second. All in favor? Done. Channel 79, we're done. Thank you very much.